we had a circus last week in New York, in New York City, and I want to talk about that. I want to just go through it because there's like a lot of stuff out there, speculation and all of that, and I want to just get super clear on it, right? Because I think a lot of people don't know like what went on, and it wasn't that crazy what went on, and I wish it was going to be a more exciting story, but I just want to, I just want to share with you kind of what happened, I guess. And I don't want to make it a big deal, but I think, but I do want to like just kind of go into it, right? You know, so mental health is important to me, right? It's important to me. We talk about that kind of stuff on here a lot. And hold on. And yeah, it's like, I think it's been something that we talk about a great deal and just think about and kind of explore, right? So I had a comedy special that we were taping. We were taping it last week, and about a month before I quit taking some antidepressants I was taking. You know, I just kind of self-weaned myself off. And the reason why was because I wanted, like during the comedy show, I wanted to have a little bit more emotion during it. I wanted to have this kind of like, I just wanted to have some more feelings. You know, if you ever taken antidepressants or if you haven't, it kind of takes away your feelings, kind of. You know, so you just kind of stay in this space where you're okay. And it's nice. It's a safe space, but you don't, you're like the astronaut that kind of stays on the ship sometimes. And you get to do the thumbs up and shit, but other dudes are like, you know, other people are out there. Anyway, so I quit taking my medication because I wanted to have a little bit more feelings during the show. I wanted to be able to talk about stuff a little bit more that meant something to me and put it into the comedy show. So that was all going fine, right? I was doing fine with that. We were headed into the comedy show, and then the Charlie Kirk thing happened, right? The Charlie Kirk murder happened, which was really crazy. You know, it was just a crazy thing. I've talked about it before. I'm not going to talk about it anymore right now. But a few days after that, or maybe a week after that, the Department of Homeland Security put a video up online talking about they started making like trap beat edits and like banger edits to evicting people from the country, right? Or eliminating illegals, maybe some criminals, some people just undocumented, all, you know, just across the spectrum, right? So they put a video of mine that I'd made for somebody in a parking lot, probably like maybe a year and a half ago, just jokingly. I think it was a year and a half ago. They put it in at the front of this Department of Homeland Security, like trap beat. I think they had like, I'm not sure if they had like young boy lyrics or whatever they had, but it was ridiculous. And the video was a girl had walked up to me in a parking lot and she had said, "Hey, my friend just got deported. What do you have to say? Do you have a message?" I can't remember what it was. And I was just like, "Bye," you know? And I didn't know if it was real or not. I had no idea. I was just joking around. It's a stranger came up to me in a parking lot. I think it was after a show and there were some people gathered around and we were just kind of like BSing and taking pictures and just kind of associating, right? So anyway, long story short, that happens. So this video goes mega viral, 25 million, 30 million views. It's everywhere. And the front of of that Homeland Security video, it's on the White House thing. It's on everything. It's everywhere. And the first 10 seconds of it are me, right? Like, I don't have anything to do with this shit. Nobody asked me about it. You know, like nobody said, "Hey, this is going to happen." Like, And I have a lot of different thoughts about immigration, right? They're like showing people getting arrested. Like, it's just an intense thing. Like, and why is the government even making these? I don't know. But that's where we're at in the world. And I have a lot of thoughts about immigration, right? I have a ton of them. And we don't need to go into them all right now. I've talked about them on other episodes. I feel like they're doing a lot of bookkeeping in the country right now because we're going to get into a surveillance state and everyone is going to have to be on the books, right? So that's where I believe that we're headed. But this was just wild, and people are like sending messages and like hateful stuff. And, you think all these illegals should, and all this type of shit. And like, I could talk to you ad nauseum about that, but this wasn't the time for it. It just was something that they used and put out there and everybody saw, right? So I'm getting a ton of hateful stuff and I'm trying to remember everything. I'm trying to kind of remember everything right now. And, but this video goes everywhere and I'm getting like a lot of like, dude, what the fuck? Just all kind of shit, right? Like my phone just blew. I'm like, what the hell? It's just like the last thing I needed, right? There's a week left to this special, and this happens. This thing comes out. And my father immigrated here from Nicaragua, right? Like one of my prized possessions is I have his immigration papers when he came here. And I have them in a frame and him and his siblings when they came here. And so I have tons of thoughts about it, but this was just fucked up, right? It was fucked up. And it was everywhere. It was like on all platforms and stuff. So that had me really kind of paranoid. That had me start to get kind of paranoid and, like closing, like, I had the curtains in my house kind of closed. I was just like, you're paranoid. I woke up the next morning. Sorry, I need some water. I woke up the next morning to a text from a high government official saying, hey, if you need some extra security in your neighborhood or some extra police cars on patrol, let me know. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Extra security? I don't have any, I don't even know the code to my Ring camera. Like, I don't even know how to log in. So it's like, and what, you're just going to put police cars in my neighborhood? What are my neighbors going to think? Now they're fearful. Like, it just like, I don't know, man. That like really kind of shook me. It really kind of shook me. But you keep marching on, and you start getting security. And then now you have security, right? And the thing is, you just don't know. You just don't know. Right? There was a moment on it was White House, because the White House also put this out. Thank you, White House. And look, I'm all for like the board. I'm all for tighter borders. I'm all for like accurate knowing who's on. I'm all for knowing who is in a country. I'm all for knowing what's in the cupboard of a society. I think you should know every item on the log. I think it should be known, right? I do. Now, how do you get there? That's the bigger question. And we don't have to discuss that today, right? It's not about that. And sorry, I'm going slow here. I'm trying to piece this together. So now I have this thing with security, but then you get a security person and if you're walking on a security guy, then that's kind of uncomfortable. Because now you're like, it kind of makes you spooked. You're like, well, what's going on? So there's just like all of that's happening. And then we get to just the job, right? Like, which is performing, speaking in front of strangers. Like, you had just seen this thing with Charlie Kirk, right? It's like we all watch somebody get lit up. We all watch somebody get murdered casually on our phones, right? Like, and I don't mean to say it like that, but that's how it came across to us. There's no warning on a lot of video you see and like, so just a lot of, I think unnecessary pressure, a lot of stress going on that I did. Some of it I was aware of, and some of it you just don't know you're aware of it, I think. Because I think like you just, sometimes you don't know what stress you're holding. One day there was I got a call from a friend of mine and they said they were going into rehab. And I just started bawling, right? And I didn't realize that there was a part of me that was waiting to hear that from them, and that it really made me feel some type of way, So sometimes it's like you just don't know what stresses you're holding. Anyway, so we get to the shows, right? We're there, and it's a lot, It's a lot. There's a lot of like last minute choices to be made. It seemed to go messier than the past specials that I'd taped. right? It seemed to be a lot more confusion. And it all could have been just kind of my perception, right? Because what started to happen was on this day, I was starting to feel a little bit like, I don't know if manic is the word. I don't know what manic means. I've said manic, but I don't manic meaning. Let me see. What does it mean when someone is manic? Oh, it says trying to meet mans. That's the first one. Like, this is fucking, see, this is how bad shit's gotten. You're trying to figure out if you have some sort of an anxiety disorder. And next thing you know, you're getting damn emails from a local men's bar or whatever. It is defined as an extremely unstable, euphoric, or irritable mood along with an excessive activity or energy level. Okay. Excessively rapid thought and speech. I probably could have used a little more of that. So I think I started to feel kind of mildly manic. I think it was just being off the medication. I think, and it wasn't insane. It was just little things. Like the second I got on stage, the first show, I couldn't feel any moisture in my mouth. And I started to feel like, you ever remember that feeling if you were in high school and you got high and then you were standing there talking to your friends and you were just too high and you were just literally standing there just trying to pretending to be yourself a little bit? So I had a little bit of that going on. And it started off choppy. The first show, it started off kind of choppy. We were doing like a new intro with Joey Diaz at the last minute, and he was pretty goomed up. You know, he's Coco. And it was a blessing that he was there, but we hadn't ran through it. And so it just like a lot of like things at the last minute. But yeah, I'm on stage, and the second half of the first show went good. And there were some beats that I got that had like an emotional piece to them that I wanted, and that felt exciting. But the whole show, it was there were parts where I just couldn't remember the next thing. I couldn't remember like my next sequence. Like I was having trouble just keeping track of stuff. And that's when I really was like, oh man, I'm just off tonight. You know, it had just like, I'm just off tonight. And I think I remember saying to the audience, like, thank you guys just for being here for me, you know, like, and the audience was cool, man. People were happy to be there. They were super stoked when I came out. I started to feel bad that I wasn't giving them the best show, but the show ended up going a little bit long, blah, blah, blah. We get to halftime or in between the two shows, and Chris Rock is backstage. He's there. My favorite, right? Like, I mean, I see Chris Rock smile and you just feel like it's going to be good. You know, it's almost like when, you know, somebody that was good in class at making a good joke, and then you see him and you're like, oh, the Michael Jordan has arrived, you know, like that thing, like, so anyway, seeing him, and it kind of like, I was like almost way so excited about seeing him. Like I was very excited, but then I realized I was kind of overexcited. He enjoyed the show, you know, and so I went into the second show feeling like, okay, I got to figure some of this out. I couldn't tell if people were like being like legit, like, okay, was it good? Was it bad? What was going on? And then I took an ice bath between the shows. I was doing my yoga, the same usual stuff I do. Anyway, sorry, I know this is getting long, but, and then we did the second show, and the second show started out fire. First 22 minutes were cooking, and then I couldn't remember stuff. And we didn't put a teleprompter. We've done it for other specials. We didn't do it. And that was a bad choice. I don't know if I probably made the choice for sure. I don't remember. But so I had to ask for help. You know, I was like having to ask off stage because I wanted to get everything in sequence. You know, and I think I got stuck on this like sequence thing. And it was just hard, man. It just, you know, I didn't feel like myself. I felt like I was trying to kind of pretend to be myself. And it wasn't insane or extreme. That was it. And we got to the end of the show, and we were standing around afterwards with the producers and the director, my friend Kevin, and just like, did we get it? You know, did we get it? excuse me, did we get it good enough? Because I want this special to be, you do the material for so long. And my buddy Neil Brennan said this the other day before it. He said, I got hair in my eyes today. He said, dude, this is the last time you'll ever spend with this material. It's really the last time you'll probably ever do it. And this material's it's been a friend to me over the years. It's been, it's taken me around the world. It's gotten me to see a lot of people that love me and that I love. So that was just a neat sentiment of a way to like embrace the material and stuff. But I was just at the end of the night, I was like, I don't know if we got it. And they're like, yeah, well, let's edit together something and see. And I was like, okay, but I couldn't feel the magic, I just was off. And that was it. We left the show, we left the theater. We took pictures. I went up by the stage at the end of each show and was like taking pictures of people that were sitting there. And that's when there was a clip of me, which I think this is what really this is what made things ridiculous. Where in passing, I just was like, or I don't know if it was in passing. I haven't seen the clip, honestly, and I haven't been online. I woke up the next day to like a bunch of things like, bro, what's up? Or things like that. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on? Like, did I steal somebody's horse? Did I hit somebody with a vehicle? I have no idea. It was just kind of alarming. And then a buddy of mine sent me a clip and I could just see the outside. And it was like, you could see me on stage. And then people were asking me about suicide. And I was like, oh God, and I don't even remember exactly what I said, but I can certainly see me saying something like, oh, just try not to take my own life, which I understand it's not a joke to some people, right? It's not a joke to me. But it is something that I'll say stuff sometimes. I say stuff, right? You know that. If you've listened to this show before or seen anything, I say stuff. I would never take my own life. I would never take my own life. Okay? You hear that, Israel? I would never take my own life. I'm grateful to God for his grace in my life. I love my siblings. I have so many friends and people that love me and people that I want to see their children grow up. I'm hopeful that I get to have a wife and meet my own children one day. Like there's a ton of things in my life that keep me alive and hopeful, right? I want to be able to have an impact in the world. Those are just a few of them probably, so many just moments we've shared on this show that I'm like, oh, I live for those things, I want to see Vandy win a championship. So I'm going to have to be alive for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. But anyway, that was, so I woke up to that and I was like, oh man. And I guess I had like a lot of different, in addition to that, people wrote articles. Oh, this is bad. And look, it wasn't great. I didn't love it. And I had a lot of people that said it was great though. Like I had people say, dude, we loved it. It was great. So, but I didn't think it was perfect, for sure. But I thought, let's just look at the edit and see. And so we still haven't decided. We might shoot again at some point. I don't know what's going to go on. But there was just this energy now where it was like everybody started checking on me. And I was like, oh, man, this is tough. And there's people that would think like, oh, well, he failed, or who want to write up something that says he failed or make a meme. I saw one thing, it said bombs Netflix or whatever, taping or whatever. Awesome. Thank you, dude. But homie, I was fucking in that bitch, cuz. You should have seen me, dog. You should have seen me. You ever see that show, dog? And a lot of times you'll see that dog show. And it's that Weistemans. I think it's Westminster. The Westminster Dog Show. You see that bitch, boy. And they got some dogs in that bitch. And then they got that other, bruh. They got that other little, this bitch is just a little thoughtweiler, this bitch, you know? They got that little male thoughtweiler rolling up. You're like, damn, that little bit. You know, he got a little, maybe an anklet on or something. Maybe he got a house arrest bracelet on his tail, but that bitch is in there. And they're like, damn, he ain't supposed to be here. But he's over there. He's listening to DMX. We ride. And all the other dogs got all them crazy tricks, and he just he'll gamble on his phone real quick or do something like that. Or he'll fucking run a parlay or something on his phone. And that's his trick. And he'll smoke a Virginia Slim right there and hit that bitch. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, what I'm saying is, bitch, I'm out there. I'm in the ring, bro. And I failed so many times. You could write what you want, big dog. Write what you want. It wasn't perfect, man. I'll agree to that. And if I've gotten so used to times I have failed, it's okay. I eat failure for breakfast, but you fill me up with failure flakes over the years, kids. And it's okay, man. That's part of the job. The first 10 years of doing comedy is failure. So much of my life, the best things that have ever happened on my life have been on the other side of failure. And yeah, it would be great if one day we could all live in a space where we lived in a neighborhood where everybody, when they went out in the world, they was potentially going to fail, boy. We riding right on the edge, baby. You know, and that we admired that about each other. So anyway, I'm not looking to like downplay it or make it, we might reshoot it again. We'll see what happens. And that's it,